Kia ora. I'm Bernard Hickey for The Kaka. This is a podcast and video and email I put out via a Substack called The Kaka, all about Aotearoa's political economy around housing, climate and poverty. Today, I wanted to focus on a major new report that's come out from the Kia Manawanui Trust, the heart of Aotearoa, New Zealand. It's a major report they've commissioned by University of Otago public health researchers into the healthcare of people who have heart attacks and heart disease. And it's found that about half of the people who have heart attacks are not seen soon enough in our public healthcare system, and that there needs to be around 3 times more cardiologists than are currently the case to meet up with international standards. The Trust has called for an immediate and urgent increase in funding and a plan to increase the number of cardiologists. This is all about our structurally and deliberately underfunded healthcare system over the last 20 to 30 years. I wanted to put up a presentation here which gives you an idea of some of the background to this report and why I see this as an ongoing issue. So here's the report: Morbidity, Mortality and Service Delivery, Heart Disease in Aotearoa. It's 260 pages long, and I've got a link in the email newsletter to it for those who want to go a bit deeper. Just to remind you on what's being said here, this is the CEO of Kia Manawanui Trust, Letitia Harding, describing heart care in New Zealand as not just being stretched, it's on the verge of collapse. Also included in the report are comments from the Trust's medical director and a cardiologist in Wellington, Dr. Sarah Fairley. She describes the report as reflecting what she's seeing inside the system. Quote, a workforce stretched beyond safe limits, patients slipping through the cracks, and no end in sight. Just to give you an idea of the details from this, half of those people suffering heart attacks aren't seen within the necessary timeframes. And that's about 60 minutes after presenting with a heart attack. So 50.2% get the required treatment, the other half doesn't. New Zealand has only a third of its necessary cardiologists, the report finds, and heart disease costs the economy around $13.8 billion. The other finding is that Māori and Pacific people die of heart disease about a decade earlier on average than other New Zealanders. Now here's the guts of it. Why has there been structural underfunding in health and in education and in housing and in public transport infrastructure? It's because of what I call the 30-30 rule. This is a practice operated by Treasury and adopted by both major parties since the early 1990s. In essence, the idea that the government should always keep debt lower than 30% of GDP. And over the years, it has increased again from being basically nothing in 2008 to around about 35-40% on a particular measure which doesn't include New Zealand Superannuation Fund assets or ACC assets. And Treasury believes that you need to keep debt below or around somewhere between 20 and 40% of GDP, around 30% of GDP, to give you room for what they call a rainy day. I would have thought now is a rainy day, but that's Treasury's view. The other view it has is that it needs to keep the size of government below or not above 30% of GDP. And to give you an idea of where it is at the moment, the dotted line there are expenses, and the hard line there is revenue. You can see there, this is what happens when you cut government revenue from income taxes. And you can see there that even though it's increased over time, it's still not large enough to run surpluses. And this overall belief that the government should always be trending down towards 30% of GDP is why you have sinking lids on spending, and why we are now in a position where we regularly see these sorts of reports that are coming out showing that public services are being squeezed and squeezed to the point where they're at the point of collapse. There's no more juice left in the lemon to squeeze. And it's causing all sorts of grief, not to mention politically, for the government, which, according to the Taxpayers Union Curia poll published this morning by RNZ, is now behind Labor in the polls. And combined, the centre-left and centre-right are equal in Parliament if there was an election held today at 61 seats each, so a hung Parliament. I'm Bernard Hickey with my daily chorus for Monday, August the 11th. Ka kite anō.